This is the story of a wolf. Not just any wolf, though. The big, bad wolf. Now, you might be thinking, that name needs some kind of explanation. How did he get it? Well, don't you worry. We'll get to that in a minute. Right now, though, our wolf is crouched down, and he's watching 3 figures up on a hill. Now, he does not like these figures. The relationship's kind of a long story, but I'll tell you that in just a second. Now, he's heard rumors that these figures are building houses because they've been kicked out of their mother's house for irresponsible activity. Now, here's how the story goes. The relationship between the wolf and these guys. Not too many years ago, there was a small schoolhouse, and in it, all the animals of the community went. The farm animals, though. There were cows and horses and chickens and sheep, and specifically 3 pigs and a wolf. Now, it was already clear that he didn't really fit into this grouping, and the pigs let everyone know this. They made sure that not only people knew that he didn't fit in, but also that he was small and runty and ugly, and they told rumors about him and talked behind his back and made fun of him. And this hurt the wolf. When it was time to go to school, he would come as late as possible, and he would sit in the back of the room and cower down. And as soon as the school bell ding, he would run out as fast as he could because he did not want to deal with these pigs. But eventually it got to him, and they convinced him that he was an embarrassment and worthless to the community and to his family. But of course, he couldn't stay like that for long, and eventually he started to grow. And he got this long, mangy gray hair, and his fangs became sharper, and his claws, he would bare them. And he became menacing and isolated, and he would lash out at anyone who tried to mess with him. Except when he was at home. Because there, he had his little sister. They called her Little Gray, and she was precious to him. But people say that when the pigs started messing with her, that is what broke the wolf and turned him into the big, bad wolf. So now we're back to him, sitting and watching these figures up on the hill. And they're talking amongst themselves, and eventually they scatter and go their ways. But he's got time, so he just waits for them. And he is plotting his plan of revenge. And not long after this, little pig number 1 comes walking along, and behind him he's pulling a wagon full of straw. And he starts throwing it this way and that and building some sort of shelter, I guess you could call it. And he's working fast, and he gets done and goes and runs to his brothers, and he's so excited to tell them how fast he got done, and he's all haughty about it and runs back to his house and takes a break, much deserved. So the wolf, he pulls back the branches and comes out of his hiding spot and slinks up to the house. And he says, little pig, let me come in." The pig is terrified. No, by the hair on my chinny chin chin. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in." So that's what he does. He huffs, and he puffs, and he blows that house down and eats little pig number 1. So then he runs back to his hiding spot and makes sure he's all covered and waits. Not long after this, little pig number 2 comes along. He's got a satchel over his shoulder full of sticks. And just the same, he starts putting them together and making sure he has nice, neat corners, and working pretty quickly, though, because he wants to get his house together. And then when he gets done, he plops himself down in there, and the wolf, he's been watching, so he comes out of his hiding spot and again slinks up to the house and says, little pig, let me come in." No, by the hair on my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in." So again, that's what he does. He huffs, and he puffs, and he blows that house down and eats little pig number 2. And now he's starting to think, this is a piece of cake. Why didn't he do it years ago? So without even going to his hiding spot, he just walks casually over to pig number 3's house. But this one's a little bit different. There's these perfect, ornately patterned brown bricks. And it's much bigger than his menacing body, but he thinks, did it already, might as well do it again. So he gets to the door and he says, little pig, let me come in. The pig this time, no, by the hair on my chinny chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. So that's what he does. He huffs and he puffs. But the house doesn't blow in. And he's starting to get a little frustrated and unsure, and he's kneading his claws and thinking to himself, and he comes up with an idea. Little pig, I know where there's a nice field of turnips. Well, where's that? Over in Farmer Gray's. And if you wait for me tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, I'll take you there and we can get some dinner. So he leaves, comes back the next morning, and he says, little pig, are you ready? Ha! Ready? I've already gone and come back and have a nice pot full for dinner, laughs the pig. And now the wolf is really starting to get mad, and he's walking around and his claws are bared. But he comes up with another plan. Little pig, I know where there's a nice apple tree. If you wait for me tomorrow morning, I'll take you there. But he knows that this little pig is going to try and trick him. So he goes early the next morning to the tree. And just like he thought, the pig's already there. Little pig, you came without me. How are the apples? The little pig is kind of shocked. He didn't expect the wolf to come early. He says, they're very nice. How about I throw you one? And so he tosses that sucker as far as he can, and the wolf chases after it. Because of course he wants a treat to eat. So he starts munching on the apple and then looks back, and the pig's nowhere to be seen. Actually, he's running back to his house. So the wolf takes off after him. He is furious now. There's foam coming out of his mouth, and his claws are bared, and his teeth are razor sharp. And you can see them gleaming in the sunlight. And he's running after this pig, and he gets to the house, and he says, little pig, you bullied and badmouthed, and you're mean to me always. And the little pig says, hush, wolf. We all know that you're the bully. You're not giving me a chance, and you never have, says the wolf. Oh, come on, save your breath. The whole community agrees. You're just a no-good criminal. And at this, the wolf snaps. And he is furious, and he jumps onto the roof, and he leaps down the chimney, only to screech as his toe meets boiling hot water. And this is the end of our big, bad wolf, never to get his revenge.
So Danae, explain to us what the process is with this. Did you come up with this pre-story of him, or was that something you found somewhere, and did you script the whole story?
Yes, the assignment was to, we were, in our storytelling class, we had to pick a fairy tale or folk tale or something like that, and to write it from a different perspective and come up with our own backstory. So I came up with that idea on my own, and then wrote it into the rest of the play to kind of fit it in how I thought it would work well.
What was the source of the story? Where did you find it?
I knew kind of the gist of it. I don't remember the source. I looked it up online just to kind of get a better idea of what the story was. I could tell you, but I don't remember what the name of the author was.
So you had it in your memory from the time we had heard it in childhood, perhaps?
Yeah, for the most part.
You said you scripted it. Were you satisfied with the ending of it?
Yeah, I think so. My goal originally was to give a little bit more story to a character that we would typically just think is bad, and we feel bad for these little pigs that he's messing with. And so this kind of puts us in a different place, and we almost feel sorry for him. But at the same time, he's seeking revenge, so I think it still goes with the same moral that that revenge is never going to turn out as a good thing. It's never going to reap good benefits. So even though we might feel sorry for him, he still met a bad end because he is hurting them back just like they did to him.
Was there any discussion in your class of using the present tense? In other words, why was everything he runs and he eats instead of he ran and he? I'm curious about that.
Not necessarily in class. I think that was up to our own judgment, but I kind of wanted it to feel like the audience, we were moving with him and seeing what he's doing, and we're going along with this journey with him. So I thought the present tense would work well for that.
Shouldn't the final pig though get some sort of punishment? I mean, if the wolf is punished for seeking revenge, and the third pig still continues to taunt him, you know, like he hasn't grown up or changed at all. Shouldn't he get some sort of, I don't know, some kind of correction of some sort?
Yes, he probably should. I suppose that's kind of the way of the world, though. Not everyone gets what they deserve necessarily. But maybe if there was also a time limit to the story, maybe if I'd had a little, potentially.
Thank you, Danae.